Welcome to everyone who's joining us for this session. My name is Prudence Gatendwe Mchanga. I'm a lawyer and I'm a member of the Institute of Directors Zimbabwe, as well as the Women on Board Zimbabwe. It is a warm welcome to you all. Thank you so much for joining us for this session. We are really grateful that you could manage to join us as the world is currently under siege, struck by the COVID-19 virus, and there have been so many distortions socially and economically. Thank you very much for joining us. To me, this session is important as I have two panelists who are going to be assisting us in unpacking the topic that we are going to be discussing today. And these ladies are, the first one is Dr. Amanda Marikanda, who is the CEO of the Zimbabwe Women's Microfinance Bank. We also have Sally Nube, who is the National Coordinator for the Women Coalition Zimbabwe. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Thank you, Prudence.
Thank you, Prudence.
Our topic for discussion this afternoon is how women are sustaining business and society with COVID-19. This has been necessitated and has also been enabled by the Institute of Directors, which I'm going to try to explain in brief what it does and why it is there. The Institute of Directors is a non-profit making organization that was started in March 1958. It is voluntary and it is membership-based. What does the Institute of Directors do? Generally, it is a continuous learning on leadership platform. It is an organization that enables the driving of good corporate governance for sustainable enterprises, and it also helps organizations do their board placements. So if you are somebody who is an organization that is looking forward to having a vibrant board, the AODZ is the place for you to be. We can also not proceed with this program without discussing a bit briefly about the objectives of the Women on Board Zimbabwe, which is really an organization that was founded under the Institute of Directors Zimbabwe, which seeks to develop and capacitate women in line with the provisions of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, which is really there to empower women in general. So the Women on Board Zimbabwe increases women in executive and board roles, and it also promotes gender and board diversity. So our topic for discussion today is, as I mentioned earlier, going to unpack how women are managing to sustain their businesses as well as societies in the areas in which they exist. We are going to be discussing this, and the structure of our webinar is as follows. Dr. Amanda Marikanda is going to come in first, and she's going to talk really about balancing double leadership. We know women are leaders. They are leaders in their homes, they are leaders in their workplaces, and they have to balance the two. So she's going to take us through the business insight with regards to the impact which COVID-19 has had on businesses that are run by women. She's going to discuss with us her experience as far as this is concerned, as well as the economic impact that the COVID-19 virus has had on various business in Zimbabwe and the world over. Then secondly, Sally Nube will come in and she's going to talk to us about the challenges that are being faced by women as far as domestic, sexual, gender-based violence is concerned. She's going to talk about the lasting impact that COVID-19 is going to have on our girls, on the girl child. What is it really that's happening out there? What are the statistics? What are the realities? She will get us to learn all about that, and we are going to make sure that Whatever she's going to discuss with us, we're going to raise questions and she will answer us. So I'm going to hand over to Dr. Marikanda so that she can start and take us through the discussion. Dr. Marikanda, over to you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Prudence. Good afternoon, ladies. It is a pleasure indeed to be sharing with the lionesses of not just Zimbabwe. I know it can go across the border. So just sharing the business perspective in light of COVID-19. I've considered myself to be talking to lionesses. Women are lionesses. You are a hunter, you're a provider, you're a protector, you're an organizer. You are the wise one who gives advice to everyone around you, including the one who is supposed to have the worst voice in your family. And in most cases, we are the sentry, the one who looks out for the welfare of the family. So the coming in of COVID-19 brought with it the danger, the horror, the fear. There was so much speculation when the issue of COVID was shared. Will you agree with me right now? It may be a bit different from what we felt. We are getting acquainted to COVID. So there were decisions that needed to be made, which related to working from home. What am I going to do for my work team? But at the same time, what am I going to do for my family? This is the double responsibility of the woman. For the men, maybe they will just decide, I'm going to make sure that the company is running well, but someone is at the home front. But if you are a CEO woman, you tend to take these dual responsibilities and you can't take them lightly. You needed to make sure that your income was guaranteed. I was fortunate to be part of the essential services, so it means income was guaranteed. But at the same time, I've got friends and relatives, sisters who are also chief executive officers of their own enterprises. The coming in of COVID wiped away a ready market that was there. So it is that happy place that people had stolen away from them because of COVID. I want us to, as we discuss further, to notice that for a woman, me included, money is a happy place. It's a happy corner where you can run to. Your business is a happy corner. When things are not working well at the home front, at times you get this freedom of being somewhere where you can be working. So when you are confined at home, it brought with it other challenges. These are the challenges of lockdown, where a woman now was confined in a place where you don't have control. You are on the receiving end. You've got limited resources to use as a family and for your children. We also found that freedoms were curtailed because of that. Economic freedom means a lot. That's one of the things that we found that became one of the biggest challenges of the lockdown. Money is one of the solutions that help with conflict resolution. The woman is at home and all of a sudden you don't have income. It brought you in that helpless situation. And the higher you go, the more curtailed your freedoms are. We hope we'll have one webinar where we could be talking about this. Women are secretive, but these are some of the things that women then find they were facing because their alternative income streams were challenged. So I'm just going to share about some of the things that we had to do, which I've been doing and other friends were doing, was to find ways of coming out of this challenge. Instead of raising a voice where we say to our sisters, we are being abused here, women are riding over us, there is gender-based violence in the home. There are solutions that we had to come up with. We would link up. This is where technology brought the better of it. There were options on what can you do to make money from home, despite the fact that your organization is challenged. For those who are employee people, we're actually wondering, do we have to pay them in May again when they are not productive? Those were decisions you needed to do, even though you're at the home front. So we were encouraging, and this is what I'm actually doing right now. I'm employed, but I run a number of things. What value chain can you participate in during this COVID period? I'm now looking at solutions on how to come out. We can complain as much as we want, ladies, but we need to come out and enjoy this new normal. what value chains can we do? What you have to decide that I want to engage into something else. Then you need holding if you don't know what to do. So others reached out. Others had just an idea. An idea is just 3% of making money. You need to execute that idea. You have to explore how to expand that, how to have a market, use technology, referrals, whatever it meant, selling from your booth or training virtually, but you had to start. So what I'm currently doing is I engaged from the 30th, when we started going on lockdown. I rolled out the value chain for vegetable making. I've got more than 10 vegetables that I was doing. I'm locked down at home, working from home, doing Zoom meetings and Skype meetings with my teams. But on the ground, I made sure that I started rolling the Pumbudza concept. So I've done about four combos, and I was paramount in doing that. My husband didn't think it made sense, but now everyone is on board. I have red cover, red paper, green paper, cauliflower, broccoli, onions, beetroot, anything that you can think of in the garden. I've more than 11 or 12 varieties that I'm running that are at maturity level. In addition to that, I've got road runners. I incubate the eggs at home. These will not let me get a day without about $10 to $15 a day. This is in addition to what I'm earning. So what I'm trying to say, one of the things that I've been encouraged to share with you ladies is what I've just shared will make someone go wow, or one will feel like that's very small. What I'm simply saying, make a difference in making money than complain of not making money, or need a man in your life to give you money. Demystify money. What I've just saying is demystify money. So what I can say about what we're doing at the Women's Bank, opportunities that are available for you women, is right now with this COVID-19 stimulus fund, it's available. You are 54% of the population of Zimbabwe. And I'm holding this portfolio for you ladies. I've been making noise out there. Open an account with, of course, I'm inviting you to the Women's Bank. Open an account. Do you want to go in which value chain? Start doing something. You can be doing cattle fattening. Use platform yokumusha kwenyu munda uya unogona kuitika. This farming season, participate. 1 ton at 16,000 is not bad if you can send 10 tons in one time. Go out, send through people who can exchange for maize some items, and you can get about 5-10 tons. And then you sell that. That's about 160,000 in your account, girl. So there are ways we can do this instead of continuously pampering men and saying men can do it. We play victim. I want to age us. We can play the victor. So I just shared with you what I'm doing, what women can do, what COVID has done. I don't look at COVID from a negative angle. I've just decided, just like I get pregnant and I go through labor and I love children, we go through tough things and we overcome. So that's what I can share a bit about COVID and what I've been doing as a CEO. I've worked from home. I'm working from work. I fear COVID, so I take precautionary measures. This is the bit of what I can say. Hoping we can discuss later. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Marikanda, for that insight. I really managed to pick some very essential points from what you were saying, especially considering that you're saying women can still do something regardless of the circumstances, regardless of COVID-19. People still need to go out there, make money, seek opportunities, find them, and utilize the funds about. We are going to be taking questions from our audience, and we will ask so that you can respond to them at the end of the session. Now I'm going to invite Salimu so that she can also discuss the challenges that women are facing as far as COVID-19 is concerned, especially as far as gender-based violence is concerned, the impact on the girl child, and issues that are related to that. Salinoe, you may join in and contribute to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Prudence, and thank you, Doc. That was great and very insightful. So in terms of my contribution to this conversation, my starting point is to say Zimbabwe and the world at large as a whole, we were already in a context where violence against women was at alarming rate. So when we look at the context in which Sub-Saharan Africa and Zimbabwe being part of, we have a drought. Our economy was performing in a particular manner, and most of the livelihoods of people were in a compromised state that in terms of the numbers, we had an increased context of violence against women, even in public spaces. So this violence was cutting across women in political spaces, women as they access public transport, women as they are at workplaces, women in various business spaces, because we are in a world order where there is male dominance over women. So you would see that women, there were issues around corruption, issues around sextortion, where women, when they are business women, they are exposed to other bad behaviored men who want to coerce them to a particular. So we were in a context where violence against women and domestic violence was also at increase. Coming in of COVID-19 then increased the statistics, because for couples who had unresolved issues, and now you have to be confined in a domestic space, there is no banging of doors or driving out of cars to go anywhere. You have to face each other 24 hours a day. It then resulted in some not being able to cope or to resolve their issues and turning into domestic violence, and also using gross methods of resolving conflict. So quite a number of women's rights organizations are providing rapid response to supporting women in COVID, not only Zimbabweans who are in Zimbabwe, but also Zimbabweans virtually. So COVID-19 gender-based violence response came in. Then the reality where people started using their savings, and then with their savings, then they also ran out. So the conflicts at the domestic space were also around food security issues, and some were conflicts around access to gadgets, because when we look at people having to work virtually and school children, some having to participate virtually, looking into the assets ownership level of women. So access to gadgets, equipment, internet, the burden of care work also resulted in women being exposed to high risks of domestic violence. And then the psychological effects of COVID-19 resulted in other people not coping, the anxieties that came in, the fear. So that then drove also into other partners who are confined in domestic spaces, not negotiating for safer sex, but also beginning to force their partners into sexual or into sexual initiatives without consent. So you could see that there was sexual exploitations. And then for others, because of the girl child was also exposed to sexual and gender-based violence, because now they were not going to school, they are within the confinements. So there have been quite a number of conflicts. Then just sharing of spaces within the homes, because when we look at access to housing, decent housing that allow for social distancing, we still have quite a number of people who are struggling in terms of decent housing facilities. So some of the conflicts were really around social distancing, around sharing the space at home and managing children, because while others had to work virtually, women had to be the one that keeps children in order. Children want to play. So you manage your children, they are making noise and the conflicts escalate. So generally those were some of the issues. That there were also social effects where culturally as a people, when there are conflicts within a household, we have a family fabric or societal fabric that intervenes when there's conflict. It happens for those that are faith-based within their churches. With others, it's within their family structure where they are aunties, where they are grandparents, or where they are the sawiras who then come in and mediate. So that support system was now eroded by the lockdown facility because there are restrictions around movements. So families now could not cope with their conflicts, and then there would be an escalation. So generally, those are some of the things that I could share in terms of what were the relationship between gender-based violence, violence against women and COVID-19. Now looking into the lasting impact of it, I think when we look at the digital divide, when we look at women's access to technology versus men's access to technology, we now have a deepened margin in terms of quite a number of women not being able to access, because even internet data, it is expensive. So access to internet for quite the majority of women, who 70% of our population is rural, to access internet, the webinars, the online opportunities, they have been that challenge. So the lasting impact will be that women will be playing catch up, or we now have an opportunity to girl up and organize ourselves to make sure that we bridge the gap, because there are opportunities that are existing, but until we resolve also issues around the digital divide, it means we have a lasting impact where women have to be playing catch up all the time. And then for those that were exposed to gender-based violence, the lasting impact would be in an absence of an intervention to give them back their power, to create an environment that is conducive for them to report, for the perpetrators to be rehabilitated, for them to be empowered financially, so that some of the fights that were around food security will be resolved. It means that we will have a generation that is lost. On access to education, we will have classes of privileged generations, because those that can access electricity, that can access water, that can access technology, will be catching up with the world as we go. But those that cannot access those will then be left behind. So as a country that have signed up to sign Sustainable Development Goals, and 2020 being a year of review from CEDAW to Beijing Platform for Action, Zimbabwe is part of the global world where we are prioritizing women's rights and gender equality. So we have that opportunity that the lasting effects, we embrace the opportunities and resolve. And the issues around really businesses, because we have 60% of women being in the informal sector. So, and the informal sector is still under lockdown. So there are also realities that the lasting impact, if we do not transform our informal sector to a manner in which it can operate and be in a manner where it is compliant to the World Health Organization standards, and it is transformed in terms of the infrastructure, and that other government departments, as they reprioritize their income to ensure that women are empowered and they are given meaningful support, social protection mechanisms. Those are some of the things that are coming in. So I would say the picture is not as gloomy, but where women could start from is starting from what they have already. So it's taking time to give each other tough love, to take stock in terms of where am I at, what are my issues, what are my discomfort points, and what is the plan of action to resolve that. Then to acknowledge, because sometimes 24 hours is eroded because we are failing to acknowledge the problem. So some of the reaching out to women and sisters is to say, acknowledge the pain that you are feeling, acknowledge the confusion that you think, but name it and put it on paper so that you can have a specific pathway of resolving it. Or you can reach out for support and be clear on the support system that you have. And I can always emphasize to say, for being a woman is complex because of the intersectionalities of your identities. You give so much to so many, and you also need. But all that you are going through, some women have gone through it and overcome. So we need to invest in building a support system that allow us to bloom where we are planted and to overcome the challenges. Then we need to resign from being superwomen. We have had also reports where some men were getting frustrated. They want to help women on their household chores, but women are saying, don't touch my pots, you will drop my child, don't do this. So we need to allow ourselves to be supported and to embrace progress so that we don't overburden ourselves. We only have 24 hours. It will not expand for women because you have other gender roles. So women need to let go some of the things we are holding on to that are eroding or that are resulting in time poverty. So we need to delegate. And then we need to also join and participate in webinars like this, and also reach out to sisters for mentorship and coaching through and through. And we also need to pay forward. So the support you receive, you need to pay it forward also to other people, because because of other women who came before you or who also exist that are generous to support you. So you also need to pay it forward to other sisters that are in need. And like what Doc have said, this COVID-19 came with opportunities. We need to open our eyes wider For those that are faith-based, we need to give ourselves tough love to map and look at what are the value chains that are existing and how do we participate in it, not to wait to be given or to be allocated, but for us to get up and embrace the opportunities and figure it out with others. Thank you, Prudence.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sally. That was very insightful. I'm agreeing with everything that you have said. And I would like to encourage everyone out there who's watching to keep the questions coming so that we can interact with our panelists and we can ask them our questions as far as women dealing with business in this COVID-19 environment, doing business and managing. So would like to find out some of the questions that we have gathered from those who are listening. And some of them are, this one is directed to Sally, and it says, what measures can you recommend to women today considering COVID-19? What recommendations can you recommend as far as their day-to-day activities, their business, their homes, their social and economic environments are concerned?
Thank you, Prudence. So I think there are things that have to do with you as an individual. Because for some that we're getting in depression or in anxiety, it's because they have quite a lot of unresolved issues for them as individuals. So you can't pour from an empty jar. So start with yourself, to be clear with yourself in terms of where are you at emotionally, financially, resource-wise, whatever it is that you want. And then when it comes to COVID, those that were afraid of COVID, some were suspecting underlying conditions. So the priority issue is just get to your doctor and go through a screening and get to know where your body is at. If you have underlying chronic conditions, just take your medication as you have been advised by your doctor. If you feel anything, keep monitoring yourself. If you start feeling symptoms like COVID, call the numbers, the hotline 2019 and get help, other than starting to traumatize yourself with things that are not there. So I would say the starting point is with the person. The personal is political. For those that have unresolved conflict issues, let's unbundle that. You need to deal with that bag and offload all those. Because some of the depression issues are because people were running away from their problems, but now you have to be confined in the space with whatever circumstances that you perceive are problematic. So I would say, face your demons, get to deal with that. Where you need support, reach out for support from mental health practitioners. They are there where you need help. From psychosocial support people who provide, there are also support mechanisms that can help you. And then regarding your income, it's you being honest to put the value in terms of what kind of lifestyle do you want to live. The at least mentality must fall. To say, at least I can afford rent, at least I can just live the life that you want to live, and name it and put a value to it, and review yourself to say, where am I expending my energies? Will it result in the lifestyle that I want? If not, then go back to the drawing board and start again. Then on others, I would then recommend to say, for those things that are individual, also find a coach, find a support system. If you have to tool up, find online courses if you can, so that at least you become, you start tooling up and get to the level that you want to be, other than just waiting for the lockdown to end, then you can begin your life. So we only live once, and there is no life that you can practice and say, I'm going to practice living this life, then I die, then I come back, then I will live properly how I want to live my life. So it doesn't work like that. We are not in practice. Every day is the final day. Then there are other issues that are collective, where you can work in the broader women's rights advocacy work. So there are other online activities that are being coordinated sometimes by Women's Coalition of Zimbabwe and other women's rights organizations. Look at what are those things that you are passionate about to contribute to national advocacy on. And then we also have opportunities where for the national COVID-19 response, the government have been open to show that it is also allowing for those that want to contribute into the national response. So I would then encourage women to participate, because at whatever level, whether you're at provincial level, district level, national level, there are opportunities for participation. So you also need to participate. For those that want to write about it. For those that want to volunteer. For those that want to give, there are also other charity initiatives that are virtually where you can contribute by also making donations. And then for those that have teams, you also need to ensure that we don't do woman to woman. We do woman to woman accountability. So women leaders, we are looked at with double lenses in terms of societal expectations. So how we treat people that we employ from domestic space to our corporate space, let's also just get to learn the journey and understand the teams we lead, so that we also do not add the burden of abuse or exploitation or of pressure in terms of who these people work with. So I think another priority is also at workplace. Then on others, I would say let's invest also in things that make our life easier. So to reduce the burden of care work, we also need to invest in time-saving gadgets, in those things that affect our gender roles. So yes, I come from a privileged generation where our mothers would play stock fellers and buy each other plates, which I'm still using. My mother passed on 12 years ago. So I would then say, for now, I think the plates we have could be enough. Let's now buy the washing machines, the other things that make our life easier. Let's facilitate for the drilling of that borehole for our access to water. Let's start let's break down those things that are taking time away from us and find a solution to work around it. Then let's also negotiate. When you have rights, you have responsibilities. In your enjoyment of your rights, you can't enjoy your rights at the expense of other people's rights. So we need to also take responsibility as rights holders and ensure that we take care. And some were also complaining about challenges around their sexual and reproductive health. To say access to contraceptives is becoming a problem, or sometimes people are now being overwhelmed that they forget to even take their contraceptives. So you also need to ensure that you take care of yourself, because the best gift you can give to your family, the best gift you can give to your clients, the best gift you can give to your teams is a whole you, which means your body, mind, and soul need to be taken care of. So take time out also when you feel the burnout. It's okay to let go some things. It's okay to delegate. It's okay to say I'm unavailable because I need to invest in self-care and self-preservation. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Sally. Now, another question that has been asked is, we have been talking about domestic violence levels going up. And the question is, how has the government been tackling this? Government, non-governmental organization, do we have a platform that has been availed to victims, facilities, and things like that to help victims of domestic violence during this COVID-19 era? And are there any facilities that are out there that can be utilized by victims?
Thank you for sharing that. So the cases have increased, yes. The government, they have got the Anti-Domestic Violence Council, and there's also at national and at district and provincial level, there are also some one-stop centers where women can access shelter. They can access legal support. They can also be facilitated to access police facilities, the victim-friendly units. And then the courts have been opened. They are now operational. So at least access to justice can happen. So there are shelters. There is legal aid for free for women in terms of institutions such as the Zimbabwe Women Lawyers Association, Women in Law in Southern Africa, Legal Resources Foundation, and Women's Coalition have also a hotline. So there are facilities. And when we look at the victim-friendly unit, it is also part of the government response. They are now also very active and responsive, providing support. Then for others who have limited access to reporting because now of the public transport system and other challenges, there are also virtual support that happens. And there's also counseling and psychosocial support and mediation on couple counseling, where there are couple counseling, or where there are siblings fights, where there is need for mediation. So that have been what the work that the government have been doing and the civil society organizations have been doing. So there is virtual support, there is practical support for shelters, there is also just following up. Then some of the risk factors that have happened really were when some of the prisoners were released due to an amnesty. Some of them had not undergone a rehabilitation process. So some, went back and started behaving badly again. If it was violence against women, it was all that. So there have been advocacy work and following up on those cases with some of the members of the Women's Coalition of Zimbabwe to reach out to that. There's still advocacy work around the quarantine centers. There's still advocacy work around the border towns, and also the community where we have retainees that are coming in and are not signing up to the quarantine centers. So there is still work in progress to ensure that at least at every stage of national response of COVID-19, there is an attachment or there is a facility that responds to gender-based violence. There is still, again, the advocacy work around a separate hotline that links to 2019 around domestic violence or any form of violence, and advocacy around the Parliament of Zimbabwe, ensuring that in line with the Constitution of Zimbabwe, they work on an independent reporting mechanism, because there have been some reports around some police officers violating women. But some women, for them to report, when we have been raising awareness, they are not trusting the police. So there is still advocacy work to say where women cannot report to the police because maybe the police or any other agents like the military who are enforcing the lockdown, there is an independent reporting mechanism, or at roadblocks where there are reports around corruption issues, to then say there is still advocacy around an independent reporting mechanism as provided for by the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sally, for that. Now on to Dr. Marikanda. Dr. Marikanda, are you still there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to ask a few questions that are coming from our participants. One question was for you to tell us what solutions are available from your bank as far as tackling this COVID-19 and its challenges are concerned. How can your bank help the women who are out there?
Okay, thank you so much. We are so excited and have been working flat out. I'll categorize women in about 3 categories: the professional woman who is at work, and then we have the SME woman who is running a business, maybe that has been allowed to work even post the total lockdown. In the partial lockdown, maybe they are operating. But there is also the woman who has been locked down since whatever happened. So as a bank, we have been doing our lobby from an economic empowerment perspective. And the most affected is the woman who has been locked in for a longer time. So I will do a response for what the bank has in for all these categories. For the professional woman, we are looking at, there is a fund that has been put, but before I talk about money, let me talk about how to cope with issues to do with COVID-19. So to sustain your income initiatives, if you are a professional and you want to borrow money or to expand your project, we have been open since the advent of COVID-19. The Women's Bank is considered an essential service. Most people didn't know about that. So you could actually reach out and get the support that you require. At the end of this, I will actually offer the conducts. Some people have not opened accounts with the Women's Bank. You don't have to open an account with the Women's Bank because you want to borrow. But I want you to know that the Women's Bank is different from other banks because government set it up as a tool to promote financial inclusion. And who has been excluded? Mainly, it's women. So it's a tool for economic empowerment for women. And then when you look at the know your customer requirements, they've been adjusted to incorporate the woman who has been excluded. So if you're a professional woman, we want you to know that we push at the Women's Bank what we call moonlighting initiatives. You may not know what activities to do, but you have some passion somewhere. When you come through, we sit down with you. This is why it's called a microfinance bank. We then work with you to find your passion, change the hobby into a money-making initiative. Some people are stuck in their jobs right now, not because they're paying well. No, they're actually sponsoring the employer. You go to work, you're not being paid fully. You're actually using your own resources from home to sustain and just keep an image that I'm employed. When you come through, this is just a bit of what we do here. You come through, and then you need to know that it's a choice to remain where I am because I love working with children. I love doing what I'm doing. But you can't then be working and complaining at the same time. So we promote what we call moonlighting initiatives. We have got this moonlighting initiative, of course, is part of my doctorate. So you can only find it within the Women's Bank. I've made it available for the public. But on the other side, it's also part of my moonlighting. I'm employed as a CEO of the bank, but I have somewhere where I make money. The idea is that I invest so much in my moonlight initiative that I do after work to a point where it's a choice. I can decide to walk away from this current employment and not feel an income depression. That's empowering. You can't go through a hearing and be buffeted, gender abuse, sexual abuse at work because you can't say no, you can't say this because you fear for your job. We empower you through that. So we have a gallery of the things that you can do as a woman, a professional woman. You may not necessarily need to do that. You are an employer at work, but you can actually employ other people. There are certain things that you can do at home. Certain people who are relying on you as an employer or as an aunt. You share with them, you send their children to work, to school, you're buying their food, you're doing all that. You can transform that dependence into economic empowering. You come through, we'll share with you how you can do that. And then within no time, you are monitoring about 4 or 5 streams of income. You don't have to be doing it with your hands. Use your head. We are women. That's what we do best. That's what we do for the professional woman. We also work with you to revive those businesses that have died. There are reasons why it died. It just doesn't die. Come through. Then we walk through it with you. We have got a team that totally understands us as professional women that we can act slay. Slay queens, where we come with these fingers, with this hairdo, and we appear like everything, temperature is not doing right. I'm from Mars, I want the ideal environment. We know people put up this front to cover up for the shortfalls. We totally understand because we've only known ourselves to be women. So we have a solution for you. The woman who is running an enterprise that has been struggling, you've been blacklisted, you can't borrow. Even as we're talking about borrowing right now, you're feeling like, I've been nailed down because when money was made available some time back, most of us would just jump in, get the money, and it then strangled our existence. You come through, we have what we call Chenesa Zita, will help you to walk through, have a new lease of life. Men can mess up, but women, once you mess up, your reputation has gone to the drain. No one will take you up. At the Women's Bank, we have a product specifically for you. We also have products that help you to address the needs of your employees. Even you need them to be on medical aid. You need them to be on medical aid. You need them to be running something on the side, empowering them along the way, where they feel like you are an employer of choice. We are talking about the micro entrepreneur, that woman, whether it's registered or not. If your business is not registered, also come through so that you gradually, you don't register and strangle yourself, but do it gradually. Yes, Zimra wants their takes, but let's walk you through so that at least at the end of the day, women, you can incubate a child and raise them to the men they are today who is abusing us. We can do the same with businesses, and to the point they can look after us in our old age. We also have partnerships and collaborations where we then say women work hard. The professional women and the micro entrepreneur. You work hard, you need a Botswana, and the day when you die, everyone will come after your food, and your children will live in absolute poverty, and the men will remarry someone else. No, we know our sisters are promoting have a will, but we have moved beyond that in partnership. We simply say, create a Dr. Manda's trust, where everything, including Mapoto, it's a persona which is running. You only bury me, but my children will come in and find things in order. Don't fight with that man. Put a trust in place. Make your life to be in order. And don't die, by the way. We don't want you to die. We want you to live longer. But we're simply saying we have this platform to talk about alternatives so that if a man marches out of your life, try to bring him back. But if he can't come back, girl, live your life fully. To a point, let me go back, because your life is in order. Then the woman who is locked in right now, who doesn't have chikoro chake, road, under the COVID-19 stimulus fund, we are excited. We will be rolling this. We are hoping disbursement is coming through. We've been given about 50 million. Because varume vacho vakaudza kuti it's a women's bank. The first person we gave a loan to and who opened the account for women's bank was a man, not a woman. It was a man. Men are daring, women are busy saying, I want to demystify that. The biggest wealth is land and water. Right now we are promoting greenery, Warren Park. We have whatever it takes. Itamarine garden, Kanema Lines 8. We have my value chains that we are promoting green beans, whatever it is. Let people walk through, open in your account. So we'll give you my WhatsApp numbers that you can work on. Pass on pass the information on your social groups. Don't talk about politics. Politics needs to abuse. It's because they don't have anything to do. Come end of this year, through dry crop farming. We have promoted castor bean farming. At now, 1 hectare, 10 lines. 10 lines, those are 100 trees. Those 100 trees, they will give you a minimum of $100 per quarter. Anyway, that's a lot of money for a woman. Okay, it's a lot of money. The kind of money on Warren Park, and money less than $1. That's a lot of money. This can happen anywhere in Zimbabwe. We have promoted this environment. If I look at castor bean production, it's being done by men. Women, they come in and then what do shure? And then the girl child who has been done hit and run, the girl child akapedza university asina kubasa kwaanoenda, that woman ari kumusha uko kuti haverengwi nestene matorina kana chitupa. Let's do this. So we do what we call aggregation. Now I'm talking to the middle income woman and the top woman. It's not politics. It's simply saying, organize yourselves, then we'll get it's my bands of people who make US dollars. These are some of the initiatives that we have. I tell you, in COVID, solutions are we have been allocated 50 million and we have indicated to them that we need 500 million. I think I can save about 2 million people. Can we not do that? Ladies, we can. We are able to do that. I really think we have complained enough, and I really think it's wrong to complain about men. Do you know that man is a father of a home? But so it's our product. We can actually move on. The social empowerment party at Native Women's Bank. No, we just want to realign my values. We enjoy femininity. I love being a woman. That's all I've known. But I'm a lioness. You don't walk over me. No, atidaro. And I use money. I'm marrying the young Dr. Mari, by the way, which means I value money, but I use it for the right things. Don't destroy your sister's life. it's okay to marana and sibling rivalry, but let's outgrow that. Like I enjoy talking to anyone. If you find negative chemistry, maybe that person is a challenge to you. Find the areas that they challenge you. So the Women's Bank, we also do social empowerment. We believe we can help a rural urban migration to have urban rural migration. Because now, right now, we have a lot of initiatives right now, asset funding, mari dzokutanga projects enyu come through, or kana tisingatenderwi kuuya, we just have our people come through kuma areas ikoko, and then we can, and akutaurira pasi ndoda kuti varume vasazvinzwa, so that we come and do it, and as women we can conquer Zimbabwe. Please should stop crying. Thank you. I took longer.
Oh, thank you very much for the inspiring message. The other question that we'd like to pose to you, Dr. Marikanda, is, are there any special requirements that are needed for any type of woman out there to access the funds that is being offered by your bank?
Okay, thank you so much. The first step to access any funding from the bank is for someone to open an account with the Women's Bank, so that you enter into, that's the relationship end. For you to open an account, you need your ID, your face, your picture, passport size photo, and then you need proof of residence. Proof of residence may not be anything that we consider. You can have written confirmation from your pastor, from your local school. It can be affidavit from anyone who knows you. We have relaxed these. These three, they make you open an account. Once your account is opened, you then deposit in bond note between 10 and 50 bond into your account through your Telecash, Net1 Wallet, or EcoCash. We are trying to encourage people to transact through those platforms so that you can do whatever you are doing, party wherever you are. So those are the special requirements that I can say, which everyone qualifies for. And then for you to access a loan, we don't want you to borrow because one way. The right question to ask when you come to the Women's Bank is, I have this idea. I want to do this. We want to know what you have. So most people, they make a mistake. Offer Marie. No, at the Women's Bank, we don't ask you to it's not take it or leave it. We want to support what you do. So we're going to mazepi, you might be braiding people's hair. You might be good at making up someone's face. Chaunoda is to buy the right brands. You might be just an extra lessons teacher. Chaurukuda is to mobilize yourself and make sure that there's mobility. Unoda motor. You're a teacher. For those who are into public service, you can use your space slip to borrow for productive purposes, not for consumption. So these are the requirements for different things. For SMEs, can I re-registered for your business? Teta also need documents, a business. You heard me, I didn't emphasize on a proposal. Your mouth will tell you what you need. Toto filama templates, because when you tell us your story, it comes out better. To make them proposals. That's not how we work at the Women's Bank. So that's what I can say at this point in terms of my requirements. In terms of the monies, that is, the people want to know. That Passover, that's what I can simply tell you. We've given people in agriculture. The IS maybe my center pivots, but they've come through to drill my boreholes, but they've come through to expand my classrooms, my creshavo, but they've come through to buy my feeding plates, the one whom I like best is the one I know it a butcher 90,000 chickens, subcontracted, ne Ivins. This is an ordinary housewife, and she's making about $30,000 US per batch. Aismarishoma. Vakatotenga rore amai vavo. Then we also have who have come in to borrow just to get badzaro kusakurisa munda make. Others have come to borrow to send their children to school and to bridge that gap. We address the 5 needs that a woman has, which is your food, You can be borrowing just to implement that. You can be for your shelter to expand imba yenyu, even one room at a time, muchiendesa yakadaro, makaita stand for a long time, but you can't build it one time. It can be for clothing. Pane vasikana vaya vaya vatinoti mathai vendors, imi ndozvati hamudi kuvanzwa nezvavo, but they are our sisters. I can only help them to come out of that life. Inoshanda when she's glamorous right now, but there's a point where she'll die like a dog when no one is looking at her. We then say it's easier for you to make money. It's paying too much for someone to enter into you, and then they pay you peanuts. It means Kanamato trader, you are giving more than they can pay for. So some of those people, they come through, but so they've come through. The others they would want for their health, others they would want for their education. But above all, we believe it's a human right to have access to credit. That's why the Women's Bank is there. That's what I can say. I hope I've answered the special requirements. You qualify. If you're a woman, you qualify. 18 years, you qualify. Anywhere in Zimbabwe, you qualify. You don't have to be in town. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. You've answered the questions quite well, and I have no doubt that people have learned new things concerning what your bank can do to help them sustain their businesses during these difficult times of COVID-19. Now I'm going to proceed to open the floor to the panelists. If there's any other contributions that you'd want to make before we close. Maybe we can start with you, Sunny. Then we can move on to Dr. Marikanda lastly, just to conclude.
Thank you. I think just to emphasize, to say being a woman comes in with a lot of opportunities, and this COVID-19 each and every day comes with it, with a whole lot of opportunities. So let's just open our eyes wider and take time to embrace and acknowledge and even realize them. So those opportunities that exist, let's not be afraid. Let's not fear money, and let's not fear a lifestyle that we want to live, because we are holding on to some of the historic childhood, adolescent issues, those voices that we entertain in our heads to say, I was told I'm this. So let's be daring, like what Doc have said. Let's embrace opportunities as they come, and let's reach out, because there is no loan that is going to be packaged like lipstick that I love so much and come to you and say, hi, I'm a loan that came from Women's Bank, please take me. So whatever it is that you aspire and that you want, go for it and get it. If you fall when you are getting it, it's teaching you a lesson for you to be wiser more. So each and every day has got its challenges, but the issue is not about you spending your whole time punishing yourself about the challenges, but you need to get up and move forward. And then as women who are doing a lot of business and women sustaining mainstream or men-led businesses, we need to allow ourselves to bloom and be the entrepreneurs. And even for women who get violated in political spaces, it's because of that financial insecurities. So we need to ensure that we invest in our livelihood support, in our financial literacy, in our entrepreneurship, so that whatever spaces we find ourselves in, we are in there because we are passionate about them, or because it is an area of choice, not because we are desperate for income. So for us to have an intergenerational conversation, that we pay forward the learnings that we have learned from each other, that we support each other, so let's not silence ourselves, let's not minimize, let's not shortchange ourselves, let's keep daring, and I'm confident that we have the capacity and we will. But we can't journey alone, we need to journey with others and contribute to other people's journeys too. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Marikanda, if you can come in with your final closing words.
Thank you so much. This has been great. I always find sharing with other sisters a great opportunity. So each one of us, I would want to draw you, whether you believe in the Bible or you don't. I want you to know that there was a point where there was a lockdown somewhere in 2 Kings chapter 4. from verse 1 to verse 7. This woman was in dire stress. Her children were about to be taken. She was in dire poverty. She went to the men of God. I don't want us women to abuse men of God. A solution. The men of God asked this woman, what do you have? And this is the same question that I want to ask you, a woman. What do you have? You may have something which is very little. It's a skill. It's an opportunity. It's time that you have. It's the ability to talk that you have. You have something that can be multiplied. This woman had a little oil, but it transformed her life. And I want to say, women, we are privileged because we incubate things. When I talk to men, they always think big. They want to start with the whole province. For women, you have incubated a child. And when the child was born, it was so ready and frail that the men almost ran away. But you gave people confidence. Yes, you know about Mwanande was Akurava graduate. We can do the same thing with businesses. They are like that. They start small. Nurture the business, incubate it, and it will grow. Start to invest right now. Thomas Nichols, that hotel, 1910, Havana Kutanga Vane, that big incorporation. Vakatangira Mumba. There are businesses that start from home. Let's start to think big. Invest for eternity, for posterity, for bigger investment for your family. Don't let your children work for someone 30 years from now. The people who are listening to me right now, I know it will work. 5 years down the line, you'll say, what you say, Doc, it does work. But we nature things, we build them up. So when you start your business, don't gomandaize it, cannibalize it, nature. Remember, a millionaire is someone akatanga kuunganidza 10 cents a dollar. So it's $1 million gathered together. Savings are very critical. Don't just spend money like murukudya mauyu. When you get money, imwe ngaidyiwe, imwe ngaiinvestwe into something yobereka chimwe. Your salary, don't let mwedzi upere, mari yamatambira, moidya yose yopera into the next month. At least 10%, mabvisa chegumi chenyu, 10% invest mukutengesa something small. And then it grows over time. Enjoy to do that. Projects, they will grow. We love to build a woman with power. And remember, money is your happy place. It's a conflict resolution tool. It's simply because atina mari. Kana unayo mari ukati tete ndachirumboska kumikuzi, I won't be there, but just go and take what you would want. Chero vangaida kukuuraya, they won't say that. They will be on your side. Your child, vari kukunetsa, mwanakomana. That baby boy, come here, come through. In the note check on you, I'll come and swipe. You know, but it's my wonder, it's no pera so. If I could feed my child, then I'll KFC, pick what you want, Dama crushes, packet, take what you want. We won't be having these vouchers taking our children. Are you a girl child? Are you looking at a man as a solution? No, I'm simply saying move the power back to the woman. We are creating a woman with power. And that's but I want you to know that a marriage where you have a voice because you're on a financial solution makes a difference. You need a player in there. As we tools at now, the face, never front up, never back, and that's it. Frustrated because no. With my playing back, my playing front, whatever it is, but with power. I don't know, my power in the money. Whether it's $5, it's power. And like my sister Saleh said, live within your means. Don't borrow. Borrowing yokuda kujika. Kana borrower, invest it and make money. So I'm actually looking forward to people coming to the Women's Bank. I'll give the moderator, she will have our numbers and she can still feel free. I'll be giving her the leeway. Feel free to share with those who may want to get in touch. I'm on WhatsApp and then I link you to whoever can help you. We are here to serve and it's an honor. I'm so grateful that I work for this organization because it allows me to make a difference. I'm actually very worried that women are not coming through. So I'm hoping COVID, we wouldn't have talked about this if there was no COVID. Thank you so much and may God richly bless you. Be that woman who doesn't sell her sons or cry to the men of God. What do you have? A little oil, run with it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'd like to thank you, our viewers, for watching, for listening, for taking your time to just be with us, to hear what our panelists had to say. What we are simply saying is we should be able to sustain our businesses even during COVID-19 times. Let's not stop making money. Let's keep making money. Let's make sure that we take advantages of the opportunities that are around us, such as the opportunities that are being offered by the Women's Empowerment Microfinance Bank. Let's work. Let's make sure that whatever we do, we survive, and COVID-19 will bring with it opportunities instead of disasters. We'd like to thank the Institute of Directors Zimbabwe for this opportunity, as well as the Women on Board. And it is our hope that you're going to join us in the next sessions that are going to be made available to us by this organization. Thank you very much to our panelists. Thank you, Dr. Marikanda, and thank you, Sally. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Bye.
Bye.